Hello and welcome back to another episode of the NUFC Monday show. I do remember I'm going to be doing a double show every Thursday and Monday as well, so please do subscribe, like and share these videos if you want more content like this. I'm to get to 50 likes for this video, so please do hit that like button if this is what you like, and I really do appreciate the support. As I say, let's get straight into it though with an update on Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Newcastle have been interested in Dominic Calvert-Lewin for a long time, since the takeover was first mooted back in April 2020. He was on their list back then. He was then a main target in January 2022. They explored a deal then, and now they've been in talks with Everton over the last couple of days, but that deal is now off because Newcastle have pulled away because of the valuation difference, basically. It's a deal that I wouldn't be surprised if Newcastle look to revisit in future because they do like him. Stylistically, he makes a lot of sense. He's Premier League proven. Eddie Howe's a huge fan. He can play off the shoulder. He can hold the ball up. He could complement Alexander Isak in terms of playing with him and also instead of him when Isak needs a rest. I think that's also crucial, by the way, because before when they wanted him to challenge Callum Wilson as a main striker. Now I think because they've got Isak, they're looking at Calvert-Lewin with his contract situation at Everton, his injury record recently, and seeing the potential for a cheaper deal. And then Everton have come to the table and said that they want £40 million. I think Newcastle at the moment are not willing to spend that on him, given everything. And also, I think that they could come back for another try at this later in the window because he is a player that they like. He's 5 years younger than Callum Wilson, and Wilson is going to leave this summer. He's been told that he won't get a new contract. He's got 1 year remaining on his current deal. He's 32, injury prone. Yes, he's a brilliant goal scorer, but he's also a fairly sellable asset. Newcastle hope to get at least some money back in for him at the end by the end of the window, having also fielded interest in him from Atletico Madrid and AC Milan in January. West Ham have inquired about him. There's also interest from MLS sides in Charlotte FC, managed by Dean Smith, and also Atlanta United and Saudi Arabian clubs too. So Wilson, I think, will likely go. The fact that Calvert-Lewin is Premier League proven, also has played for England as well, similar sort of level and style of play to Wilson in many ways, but 5 years younger, I think, is the crucial thing as to why Newcastle were interested in the first place. And I think will still go back in for a deal later in the window. I think this is something that's going to run, but at the moment they're not willing to pay more than around 20 million. Everton are after about 40. And that also means that Everton's bid for Yankuba Minteh is off the table. I've mentioned on this channel quite a few times that Minteh is likely to leave Newcastle this summer because because he is an unproven player at this level. He isn't a member of the first team squad, and like Alan St Maximin, when Newcastle sold him, it was a case where they had to make a difficult decision to cash in on a player who had some value but wouldn't upset the apple cart too much if he left. And that's very similar to where Newcastle are with Minteh. He's been brilliant on loan at Feyenoord, 15 goal contributions in Holland. He went there on loan immediately after joining from Odense for about £7 million from Denmark. Newcastle now want 40 million, which is over 5 times the amount. It'll be pure profit, and they're very confident they can get that. And if they do get that, there's plenty of interest in him. Then they will do a deal that'll deal with their PSL shortfall, which nobody quite knows how big it is, but it isn't massive, and they do have to deal with it by Sunday. So I expect Minteh to go somewhere. Interest from Lyon, Roma, Marseille, Dortmund, and Leipzig all registered there. Everton as well now, but I think that's unlikely given that Calvert-Lewin is off. So we'll see where he goes, but he doesn't really have a future at Newcastle, and this has been mooted for quite some time, as I've said on this channel before, because it was silent when he came back, when he was coming back at the end of last season, whether they would incorporate him, whether they would loan him out, and whether they would sell him. I think they didn't know. I think everything was on the table, and that value is probably too good to refuse at this stage, given that Newcastle need to avoid a PSR shortfall, given that they can't sell Miguel Almiron in the next few days because he's at the Copa America with Paraguay, given that Callum Wilson, yes, there's interest, but it's not moving very quickly, and that'll probably rumble on. This is a deal that fits perfectly, and it also means that they don't have to sell Bruno Guimarães or Alexander Isak, which is the grenade option for this summer. They really don't want to do that. Bruno's release clause expires tonight as I record this, according to Fabrizio Romano, which will mean that Newcastle will have more control over his future. He's not, we've said on this channel before, he's not pushing to leave, which is a huge thing, but Arsenal and Manchester City have been biding their time, I think, to bid for or enter the race for Bruno when they feel that they can try and get a cheaper deal, put the pressure on maybe without that 100 million release clause. So perhaps it isn't a brilliant thing that the release clause is expired. It depends how you view it. But I think Bruno will stay pushing for the move. Who knows what will happen if someone turns his head? But at the moment, he's very, very happy at Newcastle. I think he'll be in the squad for Southampton, and and I do understand why people think it's good news that his contract clause is coming to a close, because it means Newcastle are in control of that situation. Minteh will go. He'll probably go to a team abroad. There is a possibility of a buyback clause, which has been on the table. Again, I would say everything's on the table for Minteh at the moment. Newcastle are going to go big for a right winger in this window anyway. They've shown that by going for Michael Olise's buyout clause at Crystal Palace. He's now agreed to join Bayern Munich, but they did sit down with Olise and have a conversation about that, because they can, and that shows that they can afford to sit at that table. Minteh might well have looked at it and thought, well, he's not going to get many opportunities at Newcastle. His agent has been kind of surprised, I think, by the development of them wanting to sell him, but I think that his immediate future was under scrutiny anyway. So Newcastle are strengthening right midfield. They're dealing with their PSR shortfall with Minteh's sale, and then up front they thought that if they got Calvert-Lewin for around £20 million, that would be a Premier League proven striker, 5 years younger than their existing one, which they would view as an upgrade, and that would be the squad generally more balanced across the board. So absolutely, you can understand that logic. It hasn't worked out like that at the moment, at least. Wilson will still go. I'm very confident of that. I still think Calvert-Lewin's on the table, but Newcastle may well look elsewhere for a striker option now. We'll see on that. But Minteh will go. Wilson will go. Who will come in? That's a very different question. The only other thing to really mention that I haven't already is that Newcastle made an offer for Max Kilman from Wolves over the weekend. Elliot Anderson was part of the deal as well, which is a massive shame. But this is very much a PSR-driven thing. I think you'll see a lot of this. Everton, Villa, and Chelsea are also trading young players as well, and it's all about academy players, pure profit, that sort of PSR jargon that's around, and very much feels like that these rules are dictating what clubs do. Max Kilman is a player that Newcastle have liked for a long time. Stylistically, he isn't the right player for me, though. I think he's left-footed. He isn't particularly quick. He isn't. He's another player who can do exactly what Lloyd Kelly can do, who's just come in. He can do what Dan Burn can do on the left side. Newcastle need a pacey, physical, athletic right-footed centre-back, and I think that's where the Tosin deal has really snookered them. They've really, I wouldn't say chaos, but it's really caused a lot of problems for Newcastle's transfer strategy this summer, because now they have to go out and look at buying a player for a position that they thought they were going to get a free transfer for, and that's impacted their James Trafford deal. They're now looking at him instead of Mamardashvili. It's impacted their ability or desire to go and spend a bit more on Calvert-Lewin. Whether that's the right choice, I can already hear a lot of people in the comments saying it is. But let me know down below what you think of the Calvert-Lewin deal. But yeah, I think they've pushed that one to the side for now. Minteh's going to leave. A new right winger will come in. Enough about those options so far. So do let me know. But let me know in the comments who you would like to see come in for Minteh. Whether you're okay with Minteh going out or going out as well. Let me know. Bruno, as it stands, is staying as well. So all in all, a very hectic but very positive few days for Newcastle. Let's see what happens with Calvert-Lewin. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you very much.